Tommy,
Yeah,
today is Thursday, March 9th, 2023. What month in 2023 are we talking about for that Autodesk plugin to be working?
so we are looking at a timeline from about 6 weeks from now that we will launch the Autodesk plugin, the platform. So it's Autodesk Platform Services. It's the new one.
So by June 30th, for sure, that's going to be working. Russ, do you want to say something different on that?
Well, just the idea of plugins in general. If you think of plugins, it's kind of similar to examples, because these plugins aren't something that someone else couldn't build. You know, the idea is that from the plugins to the right, that area there is total. You can do anything you want with the platform. Really, the core tech is that middle bar, the SuperViz SDK. We're creating these plugins just because it's, you know, anyone could have built these. It's almost as if we're doing examples, and we want to make it faster and easier for people that happen to be using the Autodesk Platform Services or Matterport or Three.js. And so it's a part of the SDK which just accelerates the development. But
I would imagine
it's not that you couldn't use it for any of these that's missing there. Not that you have to wait for a plugin, because anybody can make a plugin.
Yes,
the core tech is really the SDK.
That said, I would imagine the addition of the Autodesk feature plus Matterport plus Three.js, the JavaScript, would probably cover 95% of all the end use cases today.
Yeah, it does. The initial ones, I would say, the early adopters. We are starting to see interest from people that are doing things like Unreal Engine, pixel streaming, even people that are doing two-dimensional tools that they've written from scratch, which Three.js is great for because it already kind of has some integration with that. So yeah, we're excited to really see where people take this, because the SDK, these plugins are related to where the instant meetings that we have, the market seems to be gravitating towards. But if you think of the SuperViz SDK, it really is much more of a Joker card. I mean, there's so much that can be done with it that we're excited to see where people take it. You could, for example, use the SuperViz SDK to create a video game. You know, that you could do anything you'd want with it, because we take care of the whole hassle of having the sync engine, having the meeting overlay, having all that stuff is just taken care of in a package.
Yes. I would say, though, for our audience, WGAN-TV, We Get Around Network Forum, primarily interested in Matterport integration. And then second, I would probably say is Revit and BIM model integration, maybe Sketch.
And that is where we've been seeing the early interest. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, Tommy, back to you.
All right. Yeah. So the idea is, through our previous work with Autodesk, previously called Forge, like that to really create that plugin and the complexity of injecting objects into their API, etc. We've been through that, and that's why also the plugins are very powerful, because then, you know, they don't need to do that. The same thing for Matterport, whoever will implement this. So the idea of these plugins is that we move forward as quickly as possible, so they can get this up and running. And it's really